Usually transvestigating is, you see hot woman, you try to find the bulge. So, I need to talk about this, this video from SunnyV2. It's been making the rounds. The only reason I haven't covered it yet is because I had a bunch of other stuff on my docket, so here we are. Who knows, maybe eventually I'll end up having to make a secondary channel to cover stuff that I do not have the ability to get put up on the main channel eventually, like frickin' Shark does. Because apparently Shark did a response to the Young Rippa video. I just didn't see it because it was on the secondary channel. Anyways, I want to talk about the SunnyV2 video that was done on Chris from MrBeast, but we're going to get into the fan art first, and then we're just going to dive right into it. We're going to dive right into it. So, first piece of fan art here is from Jet. I didn't feel up to working on my current fan arts, so I drew on a screen cap instead. It's just, is Hol-chan looking at Dumpy? Why is she looking at Dumpy? Why is she looking at Dumpy? What is Dumpy going to do? What is going to happen to Dumpy here? He's going to get eated. He's going to get eated. The next one we have here is from Anubian. You are never safe. Die. Anyways, as always, everybody, thank you all for your fan art submissions. If you want your fan art to be shown in a future video, the best way to do so is to drop it into the fan art section of the Discord. With that all said, let's go ahead and get right into the topic at hand, because I'm sniffly, and we need to get through this. So I am going to speed him up a little bit. We're going to put him to 1.5 speed, just for time's sake. But let's go ahead and take a listen here. The video is called Why Chris Will Soon Be a Nightmare for MrBeast.
The Chris Tyson situation could become a complete disaster for MrBeast brand. However, it may also provide some unique benefits. So let's begin by going over the drama before explaining exactly how this will impact the MrBeast channel.
So for those who don't know, the drama is one of the people who works with MrBeast is trans. That's the drama. That's the drama. That they're trans. That's all it is. They came out as having been on HRT and are trans. That's it. That's all it is. That is the drama from up and down, like all areas around. That is the drama. Let's go and get into it.
2022, fans began to notice that Chris Tyson was changing. In the early days, he represented the quintessential southern gun and truck loving dude, yet beginning in March 2022, Chris began to display increasingly feminine traits, making tweets such as, "I finally got my nails done at a nail tech." Additionally,
why do you have such, like, dire music here? Like, you know, guys, we have to have the super shock and awe music here, because if we don't, people won't know we're super serious. Guys, you know what you can do for your music instead? You know what you can do for your music instead? Sonic music. Nobody gives a shit what you say when you have Sonic music.
Chris would highlight that his facial appearance had changed significantly since the start of the pandemic, which accompanied another post reading, "Okay, so in 4 different customs I had to prove I was myself because I, quote, look nothing like my passport pic, so much that I'm considering updating my passport. Do you see any resemblance?" Prompting replies such as, "You went from man to boy." Chris responded by stating, "Nah, to be honest, I just really started taking my mental health seriously and eating better," yet his Twitter photos kept insinuating that Chris was becoming more feminine, with the same kind of look showing up in his MrBeast appearances. For example, on the 6th of January 2023, Beast Reacts uploaded a video titled "I strapped a GoPro to a fish," in which Chris dressed in a way that prompted comments such as, "Chris has been adopting more and more traits that remind me of my grandmother." Okay, so some people just gonna ignore Chris's nails? Chris had to have lost a bet. The look is getting wild. The response to the video then prompted countless viral TikToks, such as this one with 700,000 likes, stating, "How did Chris go from this to this?" While others even made the claim that Carl had turned him gay. Now,
okay, so this is a thing called transvestigating. Now, this isn't quite transvestigating as we would usually see it, right? Usually transvestigating is you see hot woman, you try to find the bulge. That's transvestigating, usually. This is the same thing, though. It's just a little bit different. You're looking at a person that you think is cis and trying to find every single... I guess we could call it egg-vestigating? Is that the best... Is that probably a better word for this? It's when you're looking at a cis person trying to find all the traits that make them trans or gay, whereas when it's somebody you... When you're trying to find traits that make them... Actually, no, it is still transvestigating. Because the assumption is cis by default. So it's transvestigating either way. It's transvestigating either way. So, it's a cringe thing to do. It's not a super healthy thing to do. It's not. It's treating a person like a product. It's ignoring that they're a real human being with real feelings and real emotions, and instead treating them like something to run an expose on.
This was pretty ridiculous, as Carl isn't even that feminine, and Chris had come out as bisexual years before he and Carl had even met. The true catalyst for Chris Tyson's feminization instead seemed to have come from his marriage. In January 2022, Chris would post a photo with his wife to his Instagram, yet after this, the family photo stopped altogether. Fans also noticed that he'd removed his wedding ring, with the ring's absence correlating perfectly with the very first post in which he'd painted his nails. Chris confirmed the split in a post from March 2023 reading, "For a little over a year now,
this is the level, this right here, this level of analyzing somebody's life. This is what somebody does when they are just psychopathically invested in you. When you are their favorite person. Now, I'm not saying that this is actual, like, I'm an actual thing that somebody's doing because of a mental thing at all. This is the behavior of someone who has developed a favorite person. It's an obsession. If you don't know what a favorite person is, it's not as nice as it sounds. If you are the favorite person to someone, usually it's a sign that they're going to stalk you. They are going to basically make your life a living hell under the guise of making it super perfect. So, here. It's a thing displayed in people with borderline personality disorder. A favorite person is the person that you end up spending all of your time with, you want to learn everything about, you research everything, you analyze every aspect of their life, every single thing they've done. It's also known as the first time you got in a relationship with somebody and they knew more about you than you knew about you. They knew every vacation you went on. You had no idea. Feels really uncomfortable and invasive, right? I've experienced it. You've probably experienced it. And Chris is experiencing it right now.
And Katie have been separated, with this also confirming that Chris's transformation began as soon as his marriage came to an end. Chris went from lighting campfires and raising a family with his beautiful wife to now trying to be a wife with his man buns and long nails.
Why are you just quoting random-ass YouTube comments? Why not just make up your own position? Okay.
As the criticism continued to pile, Chris announced that he'd be taking a break from social media. And while there was a possibility that Chris would make efforts to return to his former self, he'd rather do the opposite and double down on his feminine image, showing up to the Kids' Choice Awards looking like this, before making the announcement that he'd been doing HRT for approximately 2 months, which according to a quick Google search is the medical process for changing genders.
Kind of. Hormones can be used to androgynize and other stuff, but okay. So, I like how it's framed. It's almost framed as if returning to looking more masculine would have been the thing to do, like the thing that should have been done, and yet this is all being framed as looking more feminine is the bad thing. It's the wrong thing to do, which doesn't make any fucking sense.
Chris would expand on this by stating, "Informed consent HRT saved my and many others' lives. The hurdles GNC people have to jump through to get life-saving gender-affirming healthcare in a first world country is wild to me. Just let people make informed decisions about their own bodies," which received a positive response from both Carl and Mr. Beast, who wrote, "Got you, I did one more heart than Carl because I'm a better friend." While his co-workers expressed positivity, others weren't so welcoming. There goes a father figure the kid won't ever be able to look up to. Hard times create strong men create good times.
There's the fashy meme. If you've never been introduced to the hard times create strong men meme, just so you know, it is not a meme that exists in a vacuum. It is a meme that is touted around in 2 circles: authoritarian fasci circles and the manosphere, which tends to lean authoritarian as well. That meme.
Good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. Weak man times. Chris responded to this comment by stating, "This is just more dog whistling that somehow trans and GNC folks aren't safe around kids. Tucker begs for me to come back when I leave for like 2 days to film. He is so loved and happy. Kids aren't born with hate, it's taught by people like you, and my child will only know love. I know I'm going to be a great parent, and so is every other person who puts the love of their child before everything. I made this decision because I wanted to show up as my best and happiest self for him. In a way, this was for Tucker." Chris's response received some positivity such as, "I'm convinced you're an amazing father. Tucker is lucky to have you and also lucky to have all of those who surround and support you in his life, as well as I adore that. I'm glad you made that decision. It's so much easier to be a parental figure when you're not struggling with dysphoria, yet he'd also receive an equal amount of backlash."
Yeah, because people don't like trans people. Also, Victor Martinez, thank you for the $2. SunnyV2 really thought this was a good idea. SunnyV2 has made a lot of money off of this video. 4.7 million views. Compared to on most other things that SunnyV2 would do. So 4.7 million views, which is double the normal views he gets on any video. 2.8 million, 2.9 million, 2.6 million. This is double the amount of views for a single video. This is, as far as this individual will be concerned, a good idea. Also, if you're getting that many views per video, and you're making a video every, what, 7 days, every week, basically? Jesus Christ. The amount of money... He's probably making enough money off of this to not give a shit what anybody's opinions are. And that is an unfortunate thing to think about. There's a threshold, right? Base YouTube RPM. Here, just a lovely little bit of math here. The usual RPM on YouTube for most people is anywhere between 3 and 5. 7 on a good day, 10 on a really good day. So let's go ahead and open up the calculator, and let's see how much money this video alone made him. RPM is basically the amount of money that you will make per 1,000 views. So, let's go ahead and say we have 4.7 million, right? 4.7 million. We divide that by 1,000 because that's the metric our RPM will be using, and then we multiply that by, the middle end would be 5, but his channel looks like it's in good standing, so we'll go with 7. $7 per 1,000 views. On this one video, in this 1 week, this man has made $32,000. That is more than most people in the United States will make in a given year. He has made that in a week. To say that, you know, that, oh, he's regretting this decision, he's not. The unfortunate thing about how people and money work together is that when you make enough money, you tend to stop caring about the opinions of other people around you because you can literally just insulate it at a certain point. This is not true of everyone, but if you're already a shitty person, used to getting a lot of backlash about everything you say and do, getting more backlash, but getting, you know, this amount of money for it, I guarantee you, dude doesn't care. This is why people like Steven Crowder and Matt Walsh can make millions of dollars off of their channel, and no amount of convincing them that what they're doing is wrong will ever, ever, ever work. They quite frankly are paid too much to care.
Apart your family and took a father figure away from your son just so you could paint your nails and act zesty. Pathetic. He will get torn apart at school, won't want to have friends around his house, a life full of difference and being alone. Must have missed the point in that tweet. How's this for him when you're depriving him of a father figure? Although Chris wasn't altered by these comments, as he'd once again reiterate his certainty in a new post reading, "It's never too late to start being yourself," which received praise from Mr. Beast as well as Nolan and Carl. However, these comments also added extra fuel to the fire. In a few years, look back at this thread and remember they were never your friends. Only yes men cowards. Hope you come out of this safe. Mr.
Yet, who's the yes men cowards here is the question.
He's responded to this with a simple opinion irrelevant ratio, to which the original commenter would state, "I have 30 followers, so go ahead and ratio me. I'll still rest easy knowing that I'm not a coward who idly sits by watching my friend ruin his own life."
How is it cowardly when your friend is getting a fuck ton of harassment to support the friend? How is that the cowardly thing to do? I don't get it.
In some ways, it was nice to see the boys standing up for Chris on Twitter. However, the situation has already begun to change the dynamic within the videos. For example, in a recent livestream titled "Opening 1,000 Mystery Art Boxes," Chris would once again dress in quite a feminine way, and while everybody participated as usual, the energy and vibe didn't feel nearly as smooth as it normally does. It felt as though there was an unaddressed elephant in the room, and therefore everybody was in their head, as opposed to being in the present moment enjoying each other's company.
Is it possibly that people like you are using them to make even more content, and therefore the energy in the room could be changed? Is it maybe that you're part of the problem, SunnyV2? Is it maybe that stoking the flames of a whole bunch of people instead of just pointing out that, hey, being trans is okay, maybe, possibly, just potentially, doing that is causing more problems?
Maybe everybody was simply too busy opening packages, but Chris did make these bizarre jokes about Jimmy being female, making him incredibly uncomfortable.
Oh my god, Jimmy, look, they drew you. Jimmy, they drew you so well. It looks just like you.
Oh, yes.
Oh my god, it's Jimmy.
How did fan art? This is what we were looking for. Be brave, be honest, be kind. Mr. Beast. That is my tagline.
Becoming even weirder when each member started to pay each other compliments.
Hey, nice shirt. Thanks, dude. Nice shirt.
Hey, nice shirt.
Thanks, dude. Nice shirt.
Thanks. Nice shirt.
Nice shoes.
For the most part, the live stream was devoid of awkward moments. However, it would act as fodder for another 100 million views worth of drama and criticism.
You mean like you're doing right now? Like, that just feels like... Again, this feels like psychopathically analyzing something This is not healthy behavior. This level of, like, analyzing every interaction, every mannerism, everything, trying to find something you can dig out of it, this is not a thing healthy people do. When the term parasocial started getting used on YouTube and Twitter and Twitch, this is what they were talking about. This is what that's talking about. This is parasocial behavior. When people start looking into every aspect of your life and start creating a fantasy narrative in their head about it, that is just terrible. Terrible fucking behavior.
Chris likely believes that people will slowly adapt to his new appearance over time, but is this really going to happen? Well, maybe. It's difficult to say as the situation is fairly unique, especially when considering Chris's reputation and influence. However, if Chris continues to transition, would it be unreasonable to say that he could jeopardize some of the personality traits which made him a successful member in the first place?
No, because those personality traits will still be there. Like, Chris is still Chris. A person doesn't stop being who they are just because they transition. The fuck?
Perhaps the opposite will happen, and he'll instead pick up new personality traits that better resonate with the current MrBeast audience. This was put forward in many comments supportive of Chris, who imply that there'll be millions of quick hits who look up to him, although this doesn't necessarily mean that it'll add any value to the videos.
Okay, I don't like this. I don't like this analysis of channel as if it doesn't consist of real people. This analysis of it as if they're all just characters associated with a brand. Like, this is detached corporate behavior that is being filtered through the voice of a single person, analyzing this as it's actually... Like as if they're the corporation making a brand deal decision. You and I, hopefully, as normal fucking individuals, well, as normal as me or most of my audience normally are, we could agree that talking about somebody based on the value they bring to the brand almost feels abusive. Almost. It would be like if we were having a conversation, right, on Sunset City, and Channel Pup is sitting there, and we just sat down and said, Pup, we don't think you're bringing value to the brand. Wayne, Suris, Nick, Gilly, we don't think you're bringing value to the brand. The brand needs you. You need to be different for the brand. Dear God, the detached nature of that is fucking sickening. Said Pup needs to bring in more money. Pup is the one that hosts the show most of the time. Pup does fine. You aren't bringing enough Sonic the Hedgehog to the brand. The brand! Don't you understand? The brand needs you. They said, what is this normal spoken of? I don't know, an unattainable goal that I'll never reach. But does your boobies have names? Not ones that you'll ever know.
MrBeast has likely cultivated a massive LGBT audience, all of whom are already watching anyway, and if we've learned anything from Hollywood in recent years, it's that adding over-the-top LGBT characters for the sake of relatability rarely works as intended, and is often nothing more than a distraction from the premise of the movie or video.
But this isn't a Okay, this fucking sociopath. This isn't a character. Chris isn't a character. MrBeast isn't a character. They are people. There are names associated with them, but they are people. Just like I'm not a character. Suris isn't a character that I constructed. He's just me. He's just me. MrBeast is a person. There's a character there. Yes, there's a character version of a person that you're kind of playing up for the cameras, but that's still a person. Treating this all like it's characters on a TV show, that's not what YouTube is, or ever should be.
On top of this, it can be uncomfortable and unrelatable for the silent majority, although as we have seen, a situation like Chris's does—
The silent majority. The silent fucking majority. There are more people in the United States alone that support LGBTQ rights than don't. Statistically speaking. Silent majority, my left fucking testicle hair.
have the potential to create an otherworldly amount of discussion, which could be seen as a benefit for the MrBeast brand.
Drama is good for growth, 100%. That would be an easy way to up my
So you're a Keemstar?
The problem is this type of situation is probably the last thing that MrBeast wants to attract, as he's forced to agree with Chris's position, as he has no way of manipulating the situation without being painted as the bad guy. It's a
He's forced to agree with his position? No? What? Okay, this is why on fucking Twitter, Mr. Beast has been defending Chris and literally just, like, getting angry and saying just, like, oh, this transphobia is stupid. This transphobia is making me angry. That's why that's been happening. That's been happening because of this shit right here. This treating people like they are products to be consumed and then discarded is fucking disgusting.
Lose-lose situation for MrBeast. I think Jimmy is in an inescapable situation. If he kicks out Chris, cancelled. If you don't, his channel will die for real. An inescapable situation is a pretty good way of describing.
His channel will die because he has a trans person on the channel? What? How? How does that make any fucking sense? Mr. Beast could come out tomorrow as trans and his channel would still exist and be fine. There would be no real changes. What? The assumption here, like, for you to agree with this, you have to agree with the premise that being trans is bad. You have to agree with the premise that being trans is something that is bad, something that should be avoided at all cost, and that representing people who are trans is something that should be avoided at all costs. If you agree with that position, then yeah, you would come to the conclusion here that this is an inescapable situation. Kick out person, canceled by the woke mob. Keep person, channel dies. But for you to take this position, you have to agree with that baseline thing, which is not demonstrable.
Describing the drama, which is also why it deserves the harsh label of being a nightmare. Jimmy has no option but to publicly express acceptance of Chris's transition, as silence or even worse, disapproval would come with obvious severe repercussions. However, in accepting Chris's transition, Jimmy implies that this will be the new normal within the content, thus annoying a different group of people, many of whom will never express their true feelings and may rather simply click on fewer MrBeast videos. If this is the case, Jimmy has no option but to accept this fate, as removing Chris from the videos in any kind of way could create an even more severe media firestorm. The only clean solution, should things go south, might be for Chris to resign himself, and even then, rumors and bad press will be unavoidable. Whether it be arrogance or ignorance, Chris seems oblivious to how this whole thing might impact Jimmy, forgetting that he achieved his current level of success by avoiding this exact type of drama.
Existing as trans should not be drama. Existing just as yourself, as a person, that should not be fucking drama. How is that drama? It's only drama if, again, there is a pre-understood thing within an audience that being trans is bad. It cannot be drama unless you have that predisposition. Simply don't have that predisposition. It's that fucking easy. It's that fucking easy. And yeah, this is the type of thing, like, this is the type of psychoanalysis that I find very, very repugnant as a behavior. Because you're trying to pretend that you're getting into the head of people who you're making the video on. You're like, oh, this is the reason he does this. This is the reason you're doing this. Imagine being in this person's shoes. When I guarantee you, Mr. Beast's position is literally just, my friend is trans now. Cool. Because for most people, if your friend comes out as trans, that's what it's going to be. Your position is just going to be, oh, you're trans? Cool. Neat. Neat. By the way, there are Photoshop screenshots that try to make Mr. Beast seem transphobic. I can imagine that. And even if, like, there's been people who are trying to cancel Chris over this too. I'm not a Mr. Beast fan. I don't give a shit about Chris in terms of, like, him as a content creator. It's outside of my purview, right? It's somebody's content. It's not mine. But I have been seeing a lot of stuff. Like, we did the video on Sneeko, who was like, yep, Chris used to be a Southern, bigot, and now he's not, and that makes me mad. Patch Pigeon 9, today would mark the first week on estrogen. Nice, Patch Pigeon. Or Parched Pigeon. Thank you for the $1.99, but also, congratulations on starting your journey. this type of behavior where you try to pretend that you are you're just a concerned person. You're just concerned for the health of the brand. Trust me, bro. I'm just concerned for the health of the brand, guys. If only you knew how much damage you were doing to the brand. Man, fuck the brand. Who cares about the brand? Nobody should give a shit about it. Mr. Beast is literally at a too big to fail point in his life. Even if all of the content types that he does right now were to just suddenly stop and he went to do something completely different, that thing would be individually successful. That's where he's at right now. Several content creators get to that point. This is not a thing that will cause the backlash that's happening. Any backlash that happens because of this at all, if it does happen, which, again, I seriously doubt, any major backlash is going to be manufactured. It's not because Chris is trans, it'll be because transphobes exist. Existing as yourself is never the catalyst. Pretending it's the catalyst is just engaging in victim blaming. It's worthless behavior. Also, none of your business. Thank you for the $1.99. No YouTube dislikes plugin. It's about 2-to-1 dislikes last I checked. Also, I saw Pyrocynical defending SunnyV2, whilst also sincerely as fuck defending Chris's rights. It was a wild set of contradictions. Yeah, it's what happens when commentary and drama YouTubers are friends with each other and they have to stand each other in some way, shape, or form instead of being honest. Oh, wait! Now I'm doing the same fucking thing that SunnyV2 is doing. You get to either be trans and political, or cis and apolitical, apparently. Apparently. Said Pyro L. Yeah. I don't see the brand getting affected in any way, shape, or form here. I don't see a massive amount of subscriber loss happening. Hell, you know what? Let's try not talking out of my ass. Let's look up Mr. Beast on Social Blade. Let's take a look here, and let's see how the brand has been affected. Doop. Let's see. Plus 1 million subscribers, plus 1 million subscribers, plus 1 million subscribers, plus 1 million subscribers, blank, blank, plus 1 million subs, blank, blank, plus 1 million subs. I don't see much difference in that growth, do you? I don't see a whole lot. One day here where the estimated earnings couldn't be found, but estimated earnings anywhere between $14,000 and $22,000 a day. A day. Oh, but don't worry. We got to be really conscious about the brand. Very, very conscious about the brand. Anywhere on all these days, somewhere within the 10,000-ish in the low range, and somewhere within the 150 to 200,000-ish in the high range. Every single day with a couple of days of variance. Every fucking time. But, you know, we have to be very, very concerned about the brand, guys. It would be very unfortunate if something bad were happened to the brand because of, you know, Chris. I don't know how to better explain. I don't know how to better explain that go woke, go broke doesn't make any fucking sense. And it routinely fails as a concept. Every situation where somebody says that going woke is going broke is usually accompanied with some other set of circumstances that have caused issue. The Velma show is not bad because it's woke. The Velma show is bad because it's written by piss babies who have no idea how to write a show that is entertaining and nothing but cynicism. But don't worry, guys. Go woke, go broke. Let's keep our slogans. We'll keep our slogans. They're really good. They're really good. But this is where I gotta end this one. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I am tired. So what about the Super Mario movie? You mean the movie that is made off of literally the biggest brand of all time? A character who is more well-known than Mickey Mouse? There was no way in which that was going to fail. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, everybody, insert into video tagline here.